Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what it do, baby? It is your boy Pride, joined here by Coach Dante, that boy Jay, Trey, and Bishop. How y'all feeling today?
What's good? What's good,
man? What's good, man?
What's going on?
Look here, Mr. CEO. CPF, CFP, PPDD, don't matter. You knew what we meant. So, all right.
He's saying the college football playoffs got it wrong again.
You know what? Hey, yo, Miss CEO, hold on. Miss CEO, my bad. Public apology. I did you filthy. You ain't deserve all that now. My bad.
Going in on the dude.
Who you coach? Who you coaching? Because I feel like you was one of the coaching teams. Like who you coaching on? Who you sit up on the slide coaching that got done dirty last night?
Look, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. Miss CEO, you get one free shot at me, bro. You can say whatever joke you want. I'll put up and I won't even argue with you. So, my bad. Listen, Bishop, I told you, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, bro. I woke up angry, bro. I'm vexed right now, son. I'm vexed right now. But we're going to talk about college, football, and basketball. What up, Fred? Hope you feel better.
What up, Fred?
We're going to talk about
what up, Fred?
We're going to mention LeBron. We also got to piss off Bishop. So
why he ain't coming on the show?
Somehow found a way to be on here.
Why LeBron? I mean, why he ain't come on the show? Because normally when the Lakers win, he all over the show.
Well,
why he ain't on the show right now?
Yes, and congratulations, Coach Dante.
Board
executive. Congratulations,
Appreciate it, Fred.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it. Can't do it without y'all.
Well deserving. So congratulations.
Hey, hold on. What new position? Wait, what new position, Dante?
Bro, I just said it.
I'm executive.
He's a board executive. Matter of
fact,
board
executive.
Spotlight. Educators, coach. Oh, John, I'm about to remove it.
What?
Educators, coach.
Well, I haven't been here long, but like I say, Coach Spotlight saw my hard work and know my dedication. And like he named me, they basically gave me a position, the board executive. They gave me the board executive, and like I say, I'm honored. I didn't join, Spotlight or ASAP to be, an executive. I joined to work hard and dedicate myself and be up here with you awesome guys. But they saw my hard work. They saw how much I was dedicated, and they just surprised me with the call last night. Coach Spotlight just surprised me with the call last night and said, congratulations, I'm on the board for executive. And, I'm very proud. And I thank all of you. I couldn't do it without all of y'all. So like I say, man, I give all y'all credit, man. Y'all some awesome guys, man. And the grind just never stop, man. Anybody, kids or anything, you can do anything you put your mind to. You just got to work hard. You gotta keep believing it and have confidence in yourself and your ability in what you can do. And Coach Spotlight seen that, all of y'all saw that, and Coach Freddie saw that. So again, I just like to thank everybody, man, for being by my side. And let's keep working, fellas. Let's keep grinding.
Go. Congratulations, man. Congrats.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Deserved.
Congratulations, my guy. Obviously, we are proud of you. We know, you being in charge of everything, or at least having a say in it. We know you will lead us.
Yeah,
you're gonna lead us to the great green pastures. Unlike Oklahoma, says Lord Lincoln Riley, but we're not gonna talk about that yet. We ain't gonna talk about that just yet. I want to have a little bit of fun with y'all real quick. So this season has been wild. Yeah, yo, Coach, okay, Bishop, you gonna see more of that. Don't worry, it's gonna be more. In terms of hot seat, there have been some wild things happening. I'm gonna give you guys a few names. I want to start with you, Coach. I'm gonna give you a name. I'm gonna go down every single one of y'all and let me know if they're in the hot seat or not. Name number one for me. This is matter of fact. Let me start with Bishop because I want to get him tight today. Bishop, Nick Stefanski, hot seat or not? That's a thinker, ain't it?
Unbiased.
Yes, you're unbiased now, but that's a thinker, ain't it?
Yeah, he's got to be in the hot seat, bro. He got to be in the hot seat, bro. I think he in the hot seat. Nick got to go in the hot seat, bro. I know it's his first season, first NFL season and all of that. I get it, but for me, he in the hot seat, man. I'm just gonna be honest. For me, and I know Trey talking about non-biased. Screw that. That's my squad. I'm gonna be biased. Yes, put his butt in the hot seat. Put him on the hot plate. Turn him over. Burn him on the other side, and let's get him up out of here.
Hey, Trey, and that's coming from a former cook. That's blasphemy, yo. That's blasphemy, man.
Yeah,
Trey,
let's go.
Real quick. In 2 weeks, he betrayed first Jalen Hurts. Now Nick Stefanski.
I didn't betray Jalen. Stop it.
Who's number 3?
I did not betray Jalen. I just said he
Wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it. Betray.
I just said he's not it right now. I didn't say get rid of him. I said get rid of Nick. I didn't say get rid of Jalen. I just said he's not it right now. You
might make me rewatch that shit.
I didn't say that. I just said he's not it right now.
So Nick Stefanski.
To keep, I got to be the reasonable voice on the panel. So what I think for he's not in the hot seat yet. You got it's just like
Nick
anything else.
Or Kevin Stefanski, Nick Sirianni for the Eagles.
For the Eagles,
Sirianni.
Oh, I said
Sirianni. I knew what he meant.
Yeah, you knew what you meant.
Oh, my bad. I'm an idiot. Yeah, Sirianni. My bad.
So you got to give him time. You got to give him a little time, man. A year, 2 years, really? That's not enough. I mean, I understand these are grown men in which you got to deal with egos and stuff like that. It's just one of those things. He's not in a hot seat yet. It's not a hot seat, not yet. At least it might be warming up a little bit, but you got to give him a little time. Yeah, it might be a little warm. Yeah, man. Come on.
Come on.
Are y'all if they would have won last week, would you not be in play for the playoffs?
100%.
He's still in play.
Yeah, he's still in the hunt.
He's not out of it.
We would still be in the hunt only because of how garbage the NFC East is right now. That's the only reason. That's why we would still be in the hunt.
It's the third wild card spot too. So hey,
what's up, Key? Yeah, but all right. Let me throw this question over to Jay. Nick Sirianni, hot seat or not?
No, he's not there yet. Only because of the fact that the Cleveland Browns still have a fairly decent record.
No, not the Browns.
That's Kevin Stefanski.
Eagles. Why am I?
Kevin Stefanski.
I keep messing up his name.
Nick Sirianni for the Eagles. Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about Sirianni for the Eagles?
Yes.
Man.
Jesus Christ, I'm messing up.
Yeah, now definitely Sirianni in the hot seat. Listen,
thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
He definitely is.
Hey, listen, you can't leave a man in there making that many. It's time to go. Which I really don't give a damn because I'm a Cowboys fan. I want the Eagles in all kinds of dysfunction. But yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and let him go. As a Cowboys fan, actually, I should say leave him in there because as long as you leave him in there, he's still screwing them up, which makes it better for me anyway. But yeah, at the end of the day, if I'm an Eagles fan, it's time to let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and put him in the hot seat.
All right, Coach, talk to me. Sirianni, is he here or not?
I think he's gonna be here. I don't think we're gonna fire him. He's first year head coach. He was able to make adjustments. I know he heard through the media that run the ball. We have been the best running team in the league ever since he started being committed to the run. We are still 5-7. We're still in the hunt right now. 3 wild card spots left. Teams are still struggling. And again, I think you just got to be patient with him. He's starting to make adjustments. He just didn't make them last weekend. That's all. Now all he got to do is bounce back against the New York Jets, which is goddamn. I'm nervous against. We may not. We shit. Goddamn. It's a key game shit. So again, I think you hold on to him. You be a little more patient with him, and you're still in the playoff hunt. So you don't get rid of him after his first year, especially his first year coaching a second-year quarterback, and Jalen Hurts, who only played 12 games, this year, played 12 games. So you give this guy a little more time. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. I think he hold on to him for a little bit.
That's not saying much for the NFC East. I mean, let's be honest. You're in the NFC East. Hell, everybody's in the damn hunt in the NFC East. Even the damn Giants are in the hunt in the NFC East. So I mean, you can't really say that. I mean, now you take the Eagles out and put them in like any other division. Oh hell no.
Oh, I mean, you can say the same thing about Dallas. You pick them in any other division.
Hey!
I'm just saying. For consistency's sake. You can't bet mad and start, slandering the Eagles, but Dallas is damn well in the same position. I'm just saying for consistency's sake. That's all I'm saying. But for Sirianni, I don't think he should get fired. Now, look, Bishop, him and I, we're gonna have to sit down. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have to have a conversation, right? Because just 2 weeks ago, this guy was riding high. My Eagles, remember, when Oklahoma lost, he came, and all of a sudden, he was like, you know what? Oklahoma lost, but my Eagles won. He was screaming how great Jalen Hurts, all this stuff. They lose, all of a sudden, he want to get rid of everybody. Look, I like Sirianni. I like him a lot. I just think he does need some time. And on top of that, this team is still, I don't want to say rebuilding, but they're kind of redesigning a little bit, like they're still they got a whole bunch of young guys and they're trying to figure out what role works for everyone. And they're still kind of winning. They're somehow stumbling upon wins when a lot of people thought the Eagles were going to be dead last in this division. Yep. No one really thought they were gonna have
Well, no, I knew the Giants were gonna be dead last in the division. Ain't nobody thought they were gonna be dead last. Everybody knew the Giants were gonna be dead last.
Everyone thought they were gonna be dead last.
It was the Eagles and the Washington.
No. Everyone thought the Eagles was gonna be dead last in their division.
I never thought that ever. I
don't know what to tell you, but a lot of people said that the Eagles were gonna be dead last because no one knew. They said they had a whole bunch of questions offensively and defensively. In terms of them handling their business, they have. Like I said, I think Nick Stefanski.
He's talking about Stefanski.
I don't know. I think of Nick Stefanski, and it just sounds normal. It just sounds like every time I say Kevin, it sounds weird. But Sirianni, I think he's doing just enough to keep his job. Outside of last week, outside of that Giants loss, which was horrible, everyone deserves blame that. Outside of that, he's done a relatively solid job doing enough so people don't fire him. Where he's made a couple questionable calls here and there, but you can mask it under the illusion of, I want to be aggressive and I want to push and I want to, do tempo or whatever the case may be. So when it comes to Sirianni, I don't think so. I think he'll be all right. Jay, let me start with another name for you. Mike Tomlin, hot seat or not?
Yeah, he's getting awfully close. I mean, Tomlin been there for a hot minute. He does have a Super Bowl. The problem with it is you got Big Ben, but everybody knows Big Ben is done. He fried, he cooked. It's just go ahead and time to say whatever you got left your reputation and call it a day. He needs to go to retire. But if he gets rid of him, who's he really going to turn to? Rudolph? He got nobody really to turn the reins over to. Big Ben really is his only best option. So. I want to see what he does next year. I think it's warming up for Tomlin, but I want to see what he does next year in terms of recruiting, see who he brings in to replace Big Ben and kind of right that ship.
All right, Trey, when it comes to Mike Tomlin, what do you think? Is he on the hot seat or not?
That's a not. He's still, like we say, as we know, he hasn't had a losing season since he's been the coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's not hot yet. He's having to miss a little throwback, little issues because there's time to replace Ben. I think he got some time before we consider him having a hot seat. He can lose this and have a losing season this year, and his seat isn't even warmed up yet.
Yeah, I mean that's. I get where you're coming from, Coach. When we're talking about Mike Tomlin, do you think that he's on the hot seat right now?
I don't think so. Like I said, man, I think it's just time for a change at the quarterback situation for Big Ben. The defense secondary has always been mediocre. You get Najee Harris. You don't even use him that much. The guy's a stud, but you don't use him that much. The receiving core is pretty much inconsistent. Well, other than that, I mean, Pittsburgh have done a great job of keeping this team competitive and keeping this team afloat. So I think it's nothing wrong with head coach Mike Tomlin. I think he's safe, and I don't think that seat is warming up no time soon. I don't think it's warming up this year. I think they just need to change at the quarterback situation. I think it's just time to move on from Ben. I think it's time for Ben just to retire. I just think they need to change of scenery at the quarterback situation. And that defense is pretty bad, too. That defense has been getting torn apart the last couple of games against the 41 against the Chargers. Then the next fucking week, 41 against Cincinnati, gets slaughtered and assaulted. Yeah, something's wrong on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not going to say we're going to put him on the hot seat. I will say this. I do genuinely believe it's his responsibility to find the next quarterback. I don't think it should be because a lot of people are like, they're praising Mike Tomlin. They're saying how he's this phenomenal coach. And I like Mike Tomlin. I do. But I do genuinely believe I think he needs to take the responsibility to find the next quarterback, whoever it may be. Whoever, whether he can, somehow get – Russell Wilson or, have Deshaun Haskins for a year and then try to, figure something out long term. But I think it's going to have to be up to him. And I'll be honest, no one believes me when I say this, but I think his job is going to depend based on the next quarterback he chooses. That's what I think. If he gets another quarterback and it's a complete utter bust, I think that's when he's going to be on the hot seat. That's when people are going to start looking at him a little different.
Look at Pittsburgh. They tied a winless Detroit team for crying out loud. They tied a winless Detroit team,
which is horrible.
By Cincinnati. I mean, you say he's competitive. I don't see the competitiveness in Pittsburgh. But I look at Pittsburgh and I'm like, Pittsburgh.
No, dude, listen, that tie against Detroit was horrible, and I will say, I think it was one of, if not the worst coaching performances from Mike Tomlin that we have seen. And I'll be honest, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, having Mason Rudolph throw 50 times, in no world should that happen. If he throws 50 times, you deserve to lose. I don't care what
I'll fire the goddamn offensive coordinator because I don't know what the hell he was doing. Whatever the offensive coordinator, how come you not run the ball with Najee Harris one time on the goal line? How come you not run the ball not one time? And Mason Rudolph threw the ball 50 times. And what world does that happen in Pittsburgh? The offensive coordinator should be fired. Should have been fired after that game. He should have been fired on the field.
Yeah.
But don't you think, Pittsburgh's lost their scariness. Like, nobody fears, I don't think anybody really truly fears Pittsburgh. It used to be like, okay, we're going to play Pittsburgh. But no, man, I think they've lost some of that competitive edge. I don't think they don't have no fear factor with that team anymore. Nobody fears that team.
Yeah, and it's literally just a quarterback position that they're losing it at. If we're gonna be honest, you know what I mean. If they had a solid quarterback, I think people are still. I don't know if they'll be scared of Pittsburgh, but they would respect them. Like, I'll be honest with you, nobody really respects the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, especially after that tie with Detroit. Yeah. People are looking at them at like, really, this is it. Like, why are we talking about them? So. To me, I don't think he's on the hot seat now, but I think it could potentially get there if out of nowhere something happens in terms of him getting a quarterback and then it be a bust. Like, if he gives his endorsement on Dwayne Haskins and all of a sudden Dwayne Haskins is out here looking like Blake Bortles 2.0, then I think that should be an indictment on him. So that's why I believe as of right now, I don't think he's on the hot seat, but I genuinely believe if he goes out, gets a quarterback, puts that stamp of approval on him, then ends up, if they end up being a total bust, that's when I genuinely 100% believe that he's going to end up, being on the hot seat. One last name I want to throw out there, and a lot of people don't like it when I say this name, but let me start with you, Trey. Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. Not yet. I think he's with the reemergence, because let's keep in mind, in week 7, San Francisco was 2-4. Now they're 6-5, sitting at the 6th seed in the NFC in the NFC conference. So it's not hot yet. We're still in good standings. The test is gonna be this week when Debo, his new Swiss Army knife, isn't available. Is out 2 weeks for the potentially for a hamstring. So it's going to be a test to see what he does now, what he comes up with, what he's going to cook up to revitalize that offense without Debo Samuel. So it's a not for me.
Yeah, I mean, Gritty, I put that name out there specifically for you. By the way, someone did bring up Dan Campbell. We'll talk about him next. But Coach, Kyle Shanahan, the same dude who fumbled the Super Bowl against the Patriots back when he was in Atlanta, fumbled the Super Bowl when he was with the Niners. My bad. Why am I talking? My bad. But Coach, Kyle Shanahan, is he on the hot seat or not?
I agree with Trey. I mean, he was able to make it to the Super Bowl with the 49ers. Their defense is pretty competitive. They lost. I mean, Frank Warner is hurt kind of a little bit. And throughout the struggles at the beginning of the year, they're still 6-5. They're in the playoff race. They're in the playoffs right now. If the playoffs start today, and even though Jimmy Garoppolo may not be the answer for this team, and we can all agree this is his last year, no matter what happens, Trey Lance is going to get the keys for next year. He's done a heck of a job with this team. They was great last year, even with injuries. They didn't make the playoffs because of so many injuries on each side of the ball. They were still competitive. They were still able to beat the Los Angeles Rams at the end of the season last year. So they were still kind of competitive. Now they got to get off to this bad start. Now they are 6-5, and this team is starting to catch a groove. So I really like what Kyle Shanahan is doing with this organization, and John Lynch is doing with this organization. So I think Shanahan is safe. I think he's safe.
All right. Jay, I'm assuming you're with them, and you think Kyle Shanahan is safe for now?
He's safe for now. Yeah, absolutely. I'm still not really sold on Trey Lance. I don't think that was the right guy they should have taken. I would like to see them taking somebody else, but it's going to come down to, like I said, Garoppolo is just there, like Andy Dalton was there for Fields, and as long as you got that, and they're still 6-5, so it's still, like the coach said, I mean, as long as you're competitive, your job's really not on the line, and they know that, they're riding a waiver wire guy like a Garoppolo for another year, and then they're going to give it over to Trey Lance. I think once Trey Lance comes into the picture, and then see how well they do with him, that's when his seat will really be tested. But for right now, I think he's safe.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I think I'm not going to say he's on the hot seat, but I do think that his seat is a little warm. And the only reason I say that is because I genuinely feel like starting off 2-4, even though, yes, it was the injuries, people have been hyping Kyle Shanahan up as an offensive guru to the point where he could roll out there with preschoolers and he'll make something out of nothing. So with that, I think now there is some slight pressure. And on top of that, he's the one who wanted Trey Lance. So I feel like he's kind of in the same way where I have Mike Tomlin. We need to see how Trey Lance pans out before anyone makes any final decisions on Kyle Shanahan. Now, I'm not sold on Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance should have went back to college. The fact that the Niners reached for him, I don't see it. Again, I also didn't see why the Jets reached for Zach Wilson when you had like better options out there. But to each their own, it is what it is. But I genuinely believe the seat is getting a little lukewarm, so to speak. If I could throw like a liquid heat out there, I think it's a little lukewarm. But I think we'll be able to figure out more because I think Jimmy Garoppolo might be out next year. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll see really how all that pans out. But once Trey Lance gets to start, I think we'll be able to see whether or not Kyle Shanahan made the right choice with this kid. We're gonna maybe have to give him a few years to see, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Somebody said Dan Campbell. Jay, let me start with you. Do you think Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, do you think he's on the hot seat?
Man, yeah, God, I think anybody that goes to Detroit's going to be on a hot seat. That organization is just so rough, man. I mean, like I said, I think, what I always said about Detroit is where careers go to die. And I think that, man, that organization from the top, from all the way at the very top, it's just kind of messed up. Just the way they draft, the way they do things. I thought Stafford was better than Goff. I think when they traded for Goff, I'm not a big Goff fan either, man. I think Dan Campbell, as long as you're in Detroit, I think you're on the hot seat, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Trey, I'm assuming because I see you nodding. I'm assuming you're on the same boat with him.
So no, it's how many years? Dan Campbell, this is his first year, right? First year coach.
Yes.
First year.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it feel bad. I feel bad for the guy. Really, that's why I was nodding about what Jay was saying. Like, it's a bad situation there in Detroit. I feel bad for him when you sit up and break down on the podium doing your press conference and cry like say I felt his pain. I felt bad for him, but I don't think they're going to do him like they did my man for Arizona after his first year, even though he was successful. I know. So I think he still has time. I don't think it's definitely a hot seat, but I don't think it's hot enough to get him up out of there.
Yeah. Coach, how you feeling? You agree with him?
I agree with Trey and I agree with Jay. I agree with Jay at the same time. But if I'm Dan Campbell, I would hope they fire my ass. I would want to go somewhere better. To be honest, his organization is just dog shit from the front office on down to the water boy, down to the field. And I almost feel like Dan Campbell. That makes you feel like you're set up to fail. You're just set up to fail something. So if I'm Dan Campbell, I would want to get fired from this damn organization. I mean, you can tell he's a very good motivator. He's a very good coach to have in the locker room. His teams, everywhere he coached, they're always competitive. And it's not even his fault why they're losing. I mean, the team just isn't good. Jared Goff is an average quarterback. They got no receiver talent around the guy. Swift is hurt now. They got no defense. I mean, it's almost like the man is set up to fail. So, yeah. I mean, if I'm Coach Dan Campbell, I would hope they fire me so I can go to another situation. Maybe college will be good for him, or maybe another job, a job that's kind of in a playoff hunt. I think he'll be a head coach for somebody that's in a playoff hunt or a college football team or something, because he's a very good motivating head coach. And when he coaches, he knows the game of football. And I feel sorry for the man. He just got a bad organization. And he just literally got no team or no help around this guy. So if I'm him, I would look him to get fired. But that's the only reason I would say he's on the hot seat, man, because it's a damn shame how this man got set up to fail pretty much almost.
Yeah. I wonder what those interview processes. Don't you interview the organization before you take that damn job? Like if I'm coming from a decent organization where I'm an offensive coordinator, whatever, and they want to hire me, and I'm thinking like, okay, it's Detroit. Damn, I know Detroit got a lot of issues. Let me talk to this ownership and find out what they're thinking.
Or he might not have a choice. I mean, it's his first job. So he probably just doesn't want anything. It was his first job, so he probably just wanted anything, and he probably didn't really care what it was. I put Dan Campbell and they had another one, Robert Saleh. I put them both in the same category. They're decent coaches that went to shit teams with a shit front office, with a shit GM, with shit ownership, and they're just overall a shit organization. That's how I put them. Yeah. And I can't remember. I think Trey, you're the one. I think you said it. That he's on the hot seat, but anyone that goes to the Lions is on the hot seat, and it's true. Like Detroit is horrible it's this weird thing where unless Detroit all of a sudden makes the playoffs and is a legit threat, you're like there's this constant thing that like, especially going winless, it's this constant thing of like, man, like. What do I do wrong? What do I do wrong? The dude is out here literally breaking down on the press conference. And I'm looking at that like, bro, homeboy got to be stressed out of his mind. Because there's a few games they could have won. And it's like he's like, look, man, I'm doing what I can. And I get it. He's a first-year guy. But, again, just being in Detroit, like Coach said, dog shit, you're automatically going to be put on the hot seat. And that's why I feel bad for the guy, because he's doing what he can. He's a first year. This is his first gig being a head coach. But again, there comes with pressure with that. But I say this all the time: you're only as good as the players you've got. That's all it comes down to it. I love Swift, and you can make let's say who's their best player? It's between Swift and Hawkinson, right? Like between Swift and Hawkinson, and it's like outside of that, you literally have nothing. You have nothing. So it's like, and I like Jared Goff. I think he's an average quarterback. I've said before, he's solid, but he's not a guy who's going to carry your franchise and lead you into the next generation. He's not a guy who's going to put it on your back and lead you. He's more like a Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy who can just, keep things all right, keep things mellow, and we'll see what happens. To me, it's like I feel bad. I really do. But at the same time, he kind of knew what he was getting into. And I understand it's his first time. It's his first gig and everything. But regardless if it's your 5th, 6th, or 100th head coaching job, Detroit is going to be a mess. Same thing with New York. Everyone knew these two organizations were going to be a mess. It was them and the Houston Texans. Those 3 organizations we knew from the beginning, they're going to be stumbling on some hard times. And it's like if they gave him the 5-year deal, that tells me a first-time coach getting a 5-year deal, they better ride with this guy. They're gonna have to ride with him because unless they expect him to be a younger version of Bill Belichick and make something out of nothing and start finessing moves and whatnot, there's nothing he can do. He's going to war with what he got. So I feel bad for him, and he is on the hot seat. But again, he's on the hot seat solely because he's in Detroit. If he was anywhere else, I think he would be a solid head coach.
I think he would too. I think he actually would too. And I feel bad for this guy, man. Like I said, it's almost like he set up to fail. I mean, he literally got nothing around in that organization. I mean, what more can you ask for? And the coach that fights hard for his players, that's very emotional about how great his players playing. But it's just every team is just so much better than his team is. And you just don't have the talent to match up with other teams. I mean, the best game you probably could have won was that Thanksgiving game. That was probably the game you probably could have won right there. And I just feel bad for the man. The man can go anywhere else and coach. I believe he'll be straight, especially in college. I believe he'll be straight because he's a great motivator and he's a great voice to have in that locker room. I don't believe this.
That's what I'm saying. I think sometimes you ain't gotta take every job that comes along. You can be a little bit selective because sometimes going to a head coaching job like Detroit can actually ruin your career rather than help your career. Like you said, Coach Dante, he could have waited for a college opening because God knows there's a lot of college openings coming up. Yeah. And he could have snagged one of those head coaching jobs and then went from there and got him a head coaching job with a better organization in the NFL. But sometimes you ain't got to take a head coaching job just because it's a head coaching job. Because sometimes that job can actually be your quicksand. It can actually be the thing that chokes you out.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm looking at it as like the stability, like him having 5 years. I think the 5-year deal is really what kind of sold him to the point that that's what he wanted to do.
5 years ahead.
Me, but again, my thing is if you're gonna give a guy like 5 years. You need to roll with him. You need to roll with him. Like that's just how I look at it. But going over the NBA real quick, the $1 million question we have right now: the Suns and Warriors played. It was wild. It was a very interesting game. Phoenix Suns got the win, 104-96. There's a lot of back and forth. Steph Curry had a horrible game, 4 for 21 for 12 points. Jordan Poole stepped up 9 for 15 for 28. Devin Booker, he only played 15 minutes. He got injured, then they actually said he wasn't going to return. Chris Paul dropped him 15, 8 in with a solid 24. So here's a question, and let me start with you, Trey. What do you think is more impactful, the Suns' 17-game winning streak or the Warriors' third loss?
So understandably, every player is accountable, but I think with Steph Curry only getting 12 points, that's a little more impactful. Like Had he been the Steph Curry the MVP leading Steph Curry that we're all accustomed to, that would have probably been a whole different outcome. So I think, 17 game winning streak, that's pretty good. But I think what's more impactful is that third loss for Golden State.
Coach, you agree with him?
I'll say again, I think the Suns is more impactful because, like I say again, you've been hearing the Warriors are the best team in the NBA all year long. To able to come to beat the Warriors and clap the Warriors and hold Steph Curry to 12 points, that's an MVP. That's rage Tasmanian Devil Steph Curry. You held to 12 points, and that's not easy to hold a guy that can shoot from deep and also break down your defense. And then I say the whole team you hold them to under 96 points. They've been scoring 120. That is impressive, man. So I mean, I got to go with the Suns. They're 18-3. You can make an argument the Suns is probably the best team in the league, but I'm not going to go. I'm going to stay with the Warriors because that's only one L that they took. So that doesn't negate them because they're not the best team in the league. I mean, just the Suns were just a better team that night. But I got to go with this was impressive by the Suns, man. So, again, 96 points while the Warriors been beating everybody single-handedly, and you only give up 96 points and then hold Steph Curry. You shut down Steph Curry, hold him to 12 points, and everybody pretty much Poole was the only one pretty much that went off with 28 points. Everybody else was held in check, and that's impressive. That's impressive team defense. That's impressive coaching by Monty Williams. That's impressive performance by the Suns overall. So I'm taking the Suns 17-game streak. That was impressive, man.
Yeah, so with this win, even though both teams are 18-3, because Phoenix won the head-to-head, I believe they only played once. So since with that, the Phoenix Suns now move up to the number 1 seed in the West. Let me ask you something, Jay. Do you believe that Devin Booker, because the thing is with Steph Curry being cold, because he was freezing, let's be honest, he was freezing. Do you think that it kind of doesn't really matter and he gets a little offset due to the fact that Devin Booker only really played for 15 minutes?
No, I don't think so. I tell you, you need more out of your boy Devin Booker, but man, I think it's more impressive that they're able to do what they're doing, even though he did play 15 minutes. I mean, honestly, I think Phoenix Suns, quite honestly, are picking up where they left off last year. I mean, this team is sizzling. They done beat Dallas twice. They done beat Golden State for a very impressive defeat over Golden State.
Yep.
And it was a back and forth game, man. They're just a very well grouped team. And let's be honest, man. I gotta give props to Chris Paul. Chris Paul is he's a guy. He's a teacher on the floor. He's a coach on the floor. And I think as long as you got Chris Paul on that team and you got good stars around him and good cohesiveness, good go. See, you don't got to be like the Lakers and go out and get every damn top name out there for the sake of having the top name out there. All you got to do is have a good collection of guys with a good leader on the floor, and you can do anything. And Phoenix 17-game winning streak is pretty fucking impressive in the NBA, number one. And they played challenging good teams in that 17-game stretch. And to end, and at the last game, 17th game is against Golden State Warriors, which is probably one of the best. Come on, man. Damn, give Monty Williams some love.
Yeah, and
I'm going to piggyback one more thing, Pride, before I definitely want me to see agree with Jay McLovin, because I'm going to tell you something about Chris Paul. He may be sometime a cancer in the locker room sometime, but he's a damn leader in that locker room at the same time. He makes an impact on your team. Like, you remember when OKC, the year that the Rockets shipped Chris Paul to OKC, they were supposed to be garbage that year. He took them to the playoffs with a young team, mediocre head coach in Billy Donovan, and went 7 games with my Houston Rockets. And what does he do the next year? Phoenix, they get 8-0 in the bubble. And Chris Paul was the missing piece that team needed right there. And they blossomed.
Chris Paul's an orchestrator.
Yes.
He's an orchestrator. And Westbrook is not an orchestrator. That's why people understand. Westbrook can get a triple-double, but he's not an orchestrator. And I'm telling you, when you watch Chris Chris Paul and how he leads his team, how he coaches his team, how he gets his team prepped and ready to go. I mean, Monty Williams, all he got to do is sit back and say,
Yep.
Let me
And them two got a history together. Them two got a history together. Because Chris Paul was his first head. Monty Williams was Chris Paul's his first head coach.
Yeah. So I was just on my Facebook and I got 69 friends. Noise. So in terms of what I think is most impressive, I saw Devin Booker tweet, like I think he put it on Twitter. He said, because you know how they do no shave November? He did no loss November. And I was like, huh. Yeah, I didn't lose for a whole month? I don't know, man. Just saying that, if you can go ahead and say, bro, I didn't lose for a whole month, and then the last day of the month, you play the best team in basketball.
They kill him.
And not only was it a close game, you lose arguably your best. Well, I don't think it's arguably. You lose your best player, and you still have the mentality, the grit, the fortitude to still get the win. To me, that is just immensely. That to me, like I think that's more impactful. I'll be honest. And the thing is, both of these things, the Warriors' third loss is still impactful, sort of, kind of. But the only reason it's impactful is because they lost the number 1 seed. Because now people are who don't like Golden State are gonna say, see, this is why they're horrible. But if you look at it other than that, like for instance, if the Suns were in here with 4 losses and they beat Golden State, had the third, Golden State's still the number 1 seed. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is, I mean, yeah, and Trey, to your point, Steph did have a bad night. And if Steph played nice, guess what? Maybe they would have won. But guess what? It is what it is. You feel me? If don't really work well. For instance, if somebody out there, was a millionaire, they could buy a house. If I was born a girl, I would have been a girl. But lo and behold, I look down, I got a penis. It ain't big, but it's mine. That still makes me a boy. So my whole thing when people say, oh my God, Steph had a cold night. I mean, it is what it is. And I don't really give them a pass because A, Devin Booker was out 15 minutes in. Right. And B, Jordan Poole, who, by the way, kid is a fucking stud. That kid is a stud. I got him on my fantasy. Jordan Poole, you my guy, bro.
Michigan State.
You already know. I wish Bishop was here, bro. I'll be saying so much Lincoln Riley shit, bro. Like, you lucky, Bishop. You lucky you had a dip. I'll be saying I had so many Lincoln Riley jokes loaded up, bro. But I will say this, man. It was more impressive because the way I look at it, not only going undefeated for the full month, but also we also got to put in context what happened before. They started 1-3, and people discounted them to the point that no one even thought they were going to make the playoffs. They thought last year was a one-hit wonder. So now if you put it in that context, started off 1-3. Guys were like, yo, what is going on? Now they're on a 17-game win streak. For me, and I was talking to Elena about this earlier. She said the best thing that happened to this Suns team is that they lost the finals and started 1-3. Because when they got to the finals, they thought we made it and we are those guys and it is what it is. Like they already thought they won the finals before they even played game 1. And now if you look at them, now they're playing with that hunger they had last year. They've been kind of passive for the most part. Now with them playing with that hunger, I genuinely believe, Trey, that it's got to be more impressive to me, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're a Golden State fanboy, so I'm not even gonna. Oh my bad. It's my bad. I didn't mean to say that. Don't hit me.
It's cool.
But speaking about your team, LeBron James, he's in the health and safety protocols. He's gonna be out for at least 10 days. The only way he can come back sooner is if he gets 2 negative tests within a 24-hour span. So, our resident Laker fan, let me ask you, Trey, who does this negatively impact more? The league in terms of his business or the Lakers in terms of their success?
I'm gonna go with the business side of this pride for the simple fact, like the Lakers is just everyone keeps on saying it's chock full of a good amount of stars, all stars, potential Hall of Famers. So people should be picking up the slack. So it shouldn't be affecting the Lakers as much as it affects the league business. Bottom line, when you have people who pay good money to see LeBron play, and he's not there. So that's why I'm gonna go with the business side of it.
Yeah, which honestly, a lot of people are talking about the fact that LeBron's not going to be out and all that stuff. However, people are negatively looking. They're not really looking at the business side of it, because if you really think about it, the Lakers, LeBron is still one of the main big faces of the league, if not still the face. So, Coach, let me ask you a question. Do you think, like, in terms of the whole thing when it comes to like the business side of the league, do you think they're gonna do the storyline where they're gonna hype up LeBron and say, "Oh, Bron is coming back," and then they're gonna do this whole thing about him winning MVP or some shit like that?
Nah, I don't see that actually happening. But I see what Trey was coming from, because he's a Laker fan, by the way. That was an impressive comeback win last night against Sacramento, down by 13, to blow the game out from here on there. Their defense definitely locked in that third quarter, and I say just an impressive victory by the LA Lakers. But I think it kind of, I don't, just because it was 10 games, it's only 10 games. And I don't think 10 days. I don't think it'll kind of affect the Lakers. They should have more people to kind of step up in that role as they did last night. Malik Monk stepped up in the third quarter. Russell Westbrook stepped up. The whole team basically just caught on fire in the third quarter and stuff like that. So I believe it doesn't affect the team, but I believe it affects them business wise and stuff like that.
Yeah, Jay. Before I let you go, let me ask you this. So LeBron in those 10 days is going to miss at least these 4 games. He's going to miss the Clippers, Celtics, Grizzlies, and Thunder. Obviously, those are some decent matchups. So in terms of business, like the Lakers, I don't think it'll be messed up too much business-wise. The Clippers, maybe. The Thunder, 3 losses in a row. My bad. I go. My bad, Trey. I'm being a cornball. My bad.
I knew it was coming.
My bad. That's how you were chuckling, huh?
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Jay, let me ask you a question. So these 4 games coming up, right? So let's say Clippers, Celtics, Grizzlies, and Thunder. How do you think it's gonna pan out for the Lakers on these 4 games without LeBron James?
It's going to be tough. I mean, it shouldn't be tough. It's a super team. They should go in there. They should be handling business, and they should just be rolling, steamrolling right through. But for some reason, as everybody knows, these Lakers is not that way for them. There's, they beat a Kings team. Okay, fucking great. It's the Kings. Everybody should beat the damn Kings. They're freaking horrible. As far as Luke Walton, come on, man. We're talking about the freaking Kings. And then you ask me about the Lakers and what are they going to do against Memphis, this, that, and the other. Because the freaking Kings. Does that not tell you enough about what you can expect from the Lakers going against subpar teams? Oh, my God. They beat Memphis Grizzlies. They don't have John Morant. Great for you. Yeah, I don't know. I'm done with this Lakers team without Bron on there. There's no leadership, like you said. It's gonna be a plateau. Because Russell Westbrook don't change his way to do it. So you're gonna get more of what you've already gotten. So look at the past, and the past will dictate what you're gonna see in the present and the future until something changes. And the change should be Bron.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I'm looking at it, LeBron missing, my main concern with LeBron is if he really has COVID. Because the thing is, COVID has a big impact on your stamina and your endurance.
Oh, yeah, I've had COVID. I know.
Yeah, so coming back, are we going to see the same LeBron? Are we going to see the same LeBron? Because I understand he puts millions of dollars into his body with all the chefs and the training and all that stuff, which is great, which is how he's able to have all this, long-term dominance. But COVID is different, man. It really is. And yesterday, I think Mike said this. If there's one guy in the league who can get COVID and be fine with it and has the body to fight it, it would be LeBron James because of all the money he puts into his body. all the stuff he does. It would be his, but at the same exact time, I'm not 100% sure. And that's my main concern, because if LeBron comes back and he looks like a step off with his age, for all we know, this could now be the beginning of the end for LeBron James, because LeBron James was playing great. He really was. Now, imagine if with his age combined with the COVID, I mean, for all we know, this could be the domino that falls that's going to make LeBron James take a step off and, dare I say, potentially no longer be a top 5 player in the league. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people already are trying to discount him. Imagine if he take a step off because of COVID. That's going to be a whole big thing. In terms of the business, it's going to suck, obviously, because LeBron James is still he's still a guy and all that stuff. But they do still have Anthony Davis, who, he's not a slouch. He ain't no scrub. In terms of, name value, he still brings that eye-popping name to the marquee. And same with Russell Westbrook, because the problem is a lot of people are very casual when they watch basketball. When they hear Russell Westbrook, they just think of the year he averaged the triple-double, right? Like I think it was the first year when he won MVP. That's really all they really think about, right? They're not thinking about 2021 Russ, that, people are saying, oh my God, he's been on a tear the last few games and they're still playing 500 ball. So that's kind of a problem, But again, it's still Russell Westbrook. It's still a very casual name people like to look at. So you look at that. And in terms of business-wise, I think there will be a little bit of a hit, but I don't think it won't be as bad. And it also depends on the team, Because, for instance, the Celtics, we got Jason Tatum, right? So, like, they're gonna love that one, right? And they'll be fine with it. The Clippers, even if they have Kawhi Leonard, doesn't matter. Everyone always looks at the Clippers as the ugly stepchild, so that doesn't matter. Grizzlies, I don't think John Morant is gonna play, because they're being very cautious with him, so as they should be. But if he plays, that'll be a good, in terms of name value, it'll be a good matchup. And then the Thunder, look, the same Thunder team the Lakers lost twice to, so I wouldn't be surprised if people tune in just to see a for the third time. I wouldn't be surprised. And Trey, that's not even a jab at you.
That's true, though. That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like a lot. I think people would tune into that game because they're gonna want to see the Thunder win. You know what I mean? So in terms of the business, I think it's gonna be a hit, but I don't think it's gonna be as big of a hit as people believe. Gritty and Yuki said, I heard the Clippers will possibly get a new arena. Don't they already have one?
Nah, they getting one though. They purchased the old Forum in that area.
Aren't they playing in that?
They're not playing there, but it's purchased. So
it's purchased. Oh, so they're still playing at not Staples Center, Crypto.com arena.
Crypto.com.
I think Genie Buzz broke. That's what I'm doing for another
business, son, business.
Yeah, I mean, all right, we'll leave it at that. But new little thing we want to do here called Stick 'em Up. We're going to find some robbery happening around the league. Well, actually, not even the league. College playoffs, or the college rankings. Trey, we're going to have some fun here.
Yes, sir.
We're going to have a lot of fun here. We're going to have a lot of fun. I promise you, there's going to be that one bozo who goes, watch. And listen, bro, I got so much ammo. I'm waiting for these clowns. Here's how the rankings are. Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, Alabama at 3, Cincinnati at 4. By the way, just want to throw out there, bullshit. Oklahoma State at 5, Notre Dame at 6, Ohio State at 7. I'm surprised it only went down to 7. Ole Miss at 8, Baylor at 9, Oregon at 10, Michigan State at 11, BYU at 12, Iowa at 13, Oklahoma at 14, Pittsburgh at 15, Wake Forest at 16, Utah 17, 18, North Carolina State, 19, San Diego State, 20, Clemson, 21, Houston, 22, Arkansas, 23, Kentucky, 24, Louisiana, 25, Texas A&M. By the way, Gritty and Yuki, everyone does except for the low IQ people who don't really watch college football and watch the occasional bowl game because it's trendy, and they just Google ESPN stuff and they just regurgitate it because they want to think they can prove a point. By the way, the Chick-fil-A Bearcats, that is the only way I will ever refer to the Cincinnati Bearcats. I don't know if y'all know, but if you really look into it, if you zoom in on it, the Cincinnati Bearcats logo low-key looks like the Chick-fil-A logo. I just want to throw that out there. But, Coach, I listed off the top 25. Who do you think got robbed?
Who that's in a playoff right now, or that should be in
the top anyway. Either if you think there's a team that's not ranked that got snubbed, or if you think that there's a team that's ranked that should be higher, whatever the case may be.
You know what? I'm just gonna put it like this. I think Cincinnati should be 2.
Talk to him.
I think they should be 2.
I
think Michigan should slide to 3 and Alabama should go to 4.
Talk to him.
Just because Alabama has been struggling to get up out of it with these wins, and Auburn gave the game away. Alabama didn't win that game. They came back and took it. Auburn gave the game away. They just gave it away.
Bro.
And the coaching should be embarrassed. The running back, come on, man. You a college goddamn student. I understand that. But you gotta know to run the goddamn ball. Don't run out of bounds. Don't go to the sideline. And coach, you gotta know. You got a hobble ass quarterback that cannot move. Why is he still in the game? And now since the quarterback was hurt, now you had Bama just blitzing like they were crazy. Just blitzing them like they were crazy. And he could not move 1 foot. He could not take a step. So I think Georgia should stay 1. I thought Cincinnati should be 2. And I think Michigan should be 3 and Alabama should be 4. And it's Oklahoma State over Notre Dame or Notre Dame over Oklahoma State?
It's Oklahoma State over Notre Dame. Oklahoma State.
That's good.
At 6.
I like that. I don't like Notre Dame in the playoffs because every time they get in the playoffs, they get outmatched. They get outmatched in the playoffs. It almost seem like they shouldn't be in. So,
but here's the problem. If you take them out, because they just lost their head coach. So if you take them out, they're gonna feel wrong because they're gonna be like, "Oh, you only took us out because of the whole head coach thing."
No, I'm just saying they could be if they make it to the playoffs. They're not going to even be competitive against the team that they play against. They're not going to even be a competitive squad. That's why I'm so sick of Notre Dame being in that position. They're not going to be competitive, and it's almost like they shouldn't be in. But again, yeah, I think Cincinnati got robbed of that number 2 spot. I think they should be number 2 though. But my upset pick is coming Friday. Y'all won't believe what Coach Dante got coming for y'all.
I cannot wait. By the way, Monsieur, yours UTSA. Did you know records don't matter? UTSA is dog shit, Monsieur.
They lose 1 game and they get dropped out.
Come on, my
guy. Top 25.
Like, do better. Meanwhile, these are the same morons who say that support Texas A&M being 8-4, being in there. I'm telling you, we live in a world where people are just stupid. They pretend to talk about sports, and all they do is just rip off ESPN articles. That's the world we live in, unfortunately. That's the world we have to live in, unfortunately. Jay, is there anyone in the rankings that you don't like, that you think is too low, too high? Is there anyone that got dropped out that you don't like? Like what's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think A&M. I think A&M though, they still beat Alabama. I mean, it's a whole. But 8-4 record. I mean, if you go by record alone, I mean, they should be at 25. But if you go like the strength of schedule, I think they should be a little bit higher.
Hey, but here's the thing.
I'm not saying a lot higher, but put them at dead 25. I mean, I put it right now. If A&M went up against Houston, A&M's going to beat Houston. It's going to happen.
You said Texas A&M plays Houston?
I said if A&M went up against Houston,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I get why you would say that though, because I don't think it'll be a blowout. I don't think it'll be like destruction or anything. I think it'll be close. I do have Houston, but I get why you would say Texas A&M. Real quick, Gritty Nuki said, "Whoever's the commissioner of the college football, please change it based on recognized skill or strength schedule." This has been my thing. If strength of schedule is your number one talking point, you're an idiot. That's been my position on this since day one. If I ask you college football ranking and you go, well, strength of schedule, you're an idiot. Because the college football rankings are based on what you can control. You can control whether or not you show up to play. You can do your best to control whether or not the opposing team scores or not. You do not control your record. You do not control it. So don't give me all this nonsense about, strength of schedule. And I ask people this all the time. And when I ask this question, the conversation all of a sudden, it's not fun anymore. I ask people, how many teams are ranked? 25. How many college programs are there? They start stuttering. The conversation is not fun anymore. I've been saying this. Just because someone's not ranked doesn't mean they're not a good team.
Right.
For instance, Wisconsin was 14th last week. They got bounced out. Does that mean all of a sudden they're a dog shit team? I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. But again, it's hard to understand that when all you do is Google stuff, go to ESPN, regurgitate someone else's article to try to pass it off as your own. It's hard to have your own opinion, Trey. It's very hard to have your own opinion and stand by it. But let me give you the opportunity. Who's your stick 'em up?
Oh, so I missed the other two. What was Jay's and Coach's?
So Coach had matter of fact, Coach, who'd you have again?
I said Cincinnati should be bumped up to number 2. Michigan should be 3, and Alabama should be 4. And I said Oklahoma State is right. They should put Oklahoma State over Notre Dame because I'm sick of seeing Notre Dame in the playoff and they stink it up every time they get in.
And then Jay said that he agreed with Dante, and he said that he believes Texas A&M should be a little higher.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you think would win out of Ohio and Notre Dame? Because I kind of still think that even though I think Ohio could beat Notre Dame.
Ohio will beat the dog crap out of them, I believe.
You hold on, Ohio State?
Yeah, they'll beat the hell out of Notre Dame.
Oh,
I believe.
Not they'll beat the dog shit out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, they'll beat the dog shit out of Notre Dame.
I want to kind of take my back. Not so much about the A&M. I still think A&M should be at least 1 or 2 rankings higher. But I think I think Ohio should be higher than Notre Dame. I think it should be Oklahoma State, then Ohio, then Notre Dame.
Because if you put them two against each other, Ohio will beat the dog shit out of Notre Dame. If you put them two against
I think 6 and 7, in my opinion, should be reversed. Should be switched.
I'm not mad at you with that. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad, but I mean, at the same time, I do feel like Ohio should be. Matter of fact, let me not even. I'll say my stuff later. I'll say all my stuff. Go ahead, Trey.
So my stick 'em up goes to 4 through 6 at this point. Correction, 4 through 5. 4 through 5, I think is getting robbed. There's no way Alabama should still be sitting above those teams for the most part, especially when they had a close. They went to a 3 overtime win over unranked Auburn.
Then they struggle against LSU. Unranked
against LSU. So the same. The Alabama bias is real, and that I understand. Like I said, business is business. That's basically what comes about. And don't drink the Kool-Aid. Texas A&M is in the top 25, CFP top 25 because that wants to strengthen Alabama getting that loss. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't. That's what happened. They're set up and making it so that way Alabama strength the schedule because now, and like I was saying, Alabama has to be 3. It would have been outright a blasphemy if they would have been number 2 even after the fact, but they had to put Alabama at number 3 because they have to leave some leeway for Georgia to lose. For Georgia to beat them and them still have a reason to be in the top 20, the top 4.
Because 100%. Look. I thought they were gonna put Bama at 2 to drop them at 4. That's what because I believe Georgia's gonna beat the dog shit out of them. I don't think it's ugly. Yeah. And I think after that, look, Bama's gonna go to 4.
Yeah, that makes room.
They better not be 4th if they lose. I'm doing that game on Saturday.
Come next week, it's going to be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Cincinnati 3, Alabama 4.
4. 100%.
You might well throw Ohio State in now. They got 2 losses. why they can't get thrown in? That's crazy.
Because
At this point, Oklahoma State owns their own destiny. If Oklahoma State slips up, it's a wrap. It's going to be Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Cincinnati. No matter who wins or loses, as long as between Alabama and Georgia, if no matter who wins that game, that's what it's going to be. Maybe not in that order, but it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Cincinnati. If Alabama beats Georgia, that's who's going to be the CF. That's who's going to play for the playoffs.
And I will say this: if Oklahoma, real quick, before I let you go, Coach, Oklahoma plays Baylor this week. So if they win, I'm saying this right now, and I'm saying this straight up with conviction. If Oklahoma State wins and Bama loses, Bama should not be in the top 4. Dare I say, I don't think they should be in the top 6. I think they should. I think they need to go down. But however, Alabama's a cute name, so we gotta leave them up there. But go ahead, Coach. You wanted to say something?
Yeah. Oklahoma State at 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if Bama lose this coming week, Oklahoma State should go in the top 4. No, they should. That's who should take their spot in the top 4. But my concern. Oh my God, Cincinnati! If one of these teams may stink it up, either Michigan or Cincinnati, one of these teams. Both of them teams control their own destiny. They got to win their conference championship for everything to stay the same in Alabama. And if Alabama loses out, Oklahoma State that's going to be simple. Oklahoma State is going to be put in. But if Bama wins, you're going to have the same 4. You're basically going to have the same 4. Nothing basically going to change. I don't
think so. Definitely 2 teams will stick. Like you said, possibly. I don't foresee Cincinnati losing to Houston, but it's possible. Let's not act like Iowa wasn't in the top.
Iowa, a very good football team, Trey.
No, they're not. They're not. Iowa's not good. Iowa
was in the top 3 at the beginning. It was in the top 3 at the beginning of the year. They took a couple of L's and they fell out. Now they're sitting at number 13 in CFB. So that's a possibility. Like it. I mean, in my opinion, like I said, it is made for there to be Georgia and Alabama. As long as Georgia doesn't just thump Alabama and OSU doesn't even lose or doesn't get thumped by or make have a close game with Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
That is what's going to be. That's what keeps Alabama out of the CFP.
Yep, and like for me, and let me do my thing. Obviously, first because I have a few. First and foremost, Cincinnati at 4 is disrespectful. Me personally, and we said this yesterday when we were talking about I thought Cincinnati should have been 2, and I get the whole storyline with Michigan winning. It was adorable. It was cute, but. Come on, son. Your first win all of a sudden provides you 2. Do better. We need to do better. I understand it was a tough game, but that deserved to go up to 3. Sure, 2. I disagree with that. Bama at 3 is completely and utterly ridiculous. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I might tell y'all why. I'm gonna tell y'all this why. I'm gonna tell y'all why this. Strength of schedule matters until it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? Like. Auburn wasn't. This is why when you use the strength of argument schedule, that's why I call you an idiot. Because guess what? The win and loss shouldn't matter. Alabama played an unranked team. Therefore, they should be going down. I mean, they're unranked, right? Now you see why I say if you tell me strength of schedule is number 1, that's why I call you disrespectfully an idiot. That's why I call you that. Because if the wins and losses don't matter, here we go, right? And then another one, UTSA getting completely kicked out again. If you go, oh yeah, UTSA didn't deserve it again.
Run them pockets.
Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, Trey. We live in a world where people are dumb as shit. They have no problem having Texas A&M at 25 being 8-4. But UTSA can't get 0 respect. I'm asking for a friend. So here's a question. What happens if Iowa beats Michigan?
Then that opens up for
guarantee
Oklahoma
Alabama.
If
Guarantee
Alabama, and it opens up Oklahoma State. It opens up them. Whichever two.
No, I don't think so. You ready? Ready to hear something funny? I'm gonna say this right now. If Oklahoma State wins and both Alabama and Michigan loses, I guarantee the top 4 remains the same. The only difference is maybe Cincinnati goes up to 2. But with how bugging these bozos have been doing this stuff, I would not be surprised. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you, based on how stupid these people have been doing, how stupid the committee been all year, I guarantee if Michigan loses to Iowa and Alabama loses, I think they play Houston, right? Check me if I'm wrong, somebody.
No, Cincinnati play Houston.
Miami plays Iowa.
Iowa?
Michigan plays Iowa.
Yeah.
Play? We said it earlier.
Georgia.
Right? Okay.
Georgia and Alabama play.
Who does Alabama play? I'm trying to see right now.
Georgia plays Alabama.
Oh, Georgia. Oh, yeah.
It's the SEC showdown.
Yes. So this is what I'm saying. If Bama loses, Michigan loses, and Oklahoma State wins, I would not be surprised if the top 4 remains the same. I'll be honest with you. I would not be.
I'll be shocked if they keep Alabama now, man.
How wild they been this year. And I'm telling you, I think the only way, and this sounds weird.
The only way Alabama comes up out of there is Georgia has to thrash them with no prejudice bias. That's the only way they come up. That's the only way Alabama comes up out of there if they get thoroughly thrashed and everybody else wins. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. If Alabama losing and Michigan losing, I think the only way we see any change is if only one of them lose. That's it. Yep. If both of them lose, they can then they're going to make some stupid argument. And I guarantee you they're going to go and say, 11-2. This is what they're going to say. Records all of a sudden going to matter. They're all 11-2. Therefore, why should we move anyone? I'm telling you, that's how it's going to be. And when it happens, and listen, for me, I'm in a win-win situation. Either I'm right and the committee proves that they're a bunch of fucking morons, or I'm wrong, and we can actually move Cincy up and put Oklahoma State in the top 4. So I'm in a win-win regardless. Either I'm right and I proved everybody wrong, or I'm wrong and there's right done on these rankings. Regardless, I'm living my best life. I don't worry about these fuckers living my best life. Like, I'm telling you, like that's my fear right now, bro. I feel like right now, like you said, Trey, even if Georgia just mollywops them, spits on them, takes their shoes, runs their pockets, all that.
Top another man's pockets.
Yeah, bro, yo, y'all ever watch rap battles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Trey, you know how in your URL shout to that boy. Yeah. You know how sometimes they go, how you let a dude touch your pocket? Georgia finna do that to Alabama. Alabama gonna let it happen, and at worst they'll be top 4. What? I'm telling you, y'all heard it here first. I'm telling y'all, there's this weird fetish going on with Alabama. It's been like that for years. I swear Nick Saban low-key did something. He low-key got power moves.
He got something on the NCAA.
He got pictures. I'm gonna tell you this right now. He got Urban Meyer pictures, bro. He got Urban Meyer pictures back in college, and he like, hey, yo, I'll leak him. What up? Like, I'm just throwing that out there. But another question. Cincinnati, they played 21st ranked Houston. I'm gonna start with you, Trey. If Cincy loses, what do you think happens?
UTSA treatment. Or some not completely out, but they're dropping. Like it's like they didn't get into the CFP, the top 4, until just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. If Cincinnati loses, they're just going to drop out. They're probably going to drop to number 7 or number 8 if they lose. Like that's how it's set up. It's going to be one of those. We thought that's who they are exactly who we thought they were. And they're not going to get that respect. So they're not going to get the Power 5 conference respect. They're going to end up dropping. Notre Dame and Oklahoma State is going to probably move up. I doubt both of those will lose. And if Alabama probably still gets to be in.
Yeah. This is their second week being in the top 4. Jay, do you think there's any scenario at all where Cincinnati loses and does not drop out of the top 4?
Oh, hell no. Look, these guys have already been bumped out of the top 4 twice, and they have an undefeated record. So if they lose to Houston, it's like you said, it's UTSA. It's all but done deal. They're probably going to start down to like 15 or 16 or some craziness like that. I mean, nobody wants them in the top 4 to begin with. So all it takes is a loss to get them further excuse of it. Like you said, that's who we thought they were, and that's why they're out. So yeah. They lose. It's all or nothing for them. They can't lose.
Yeah, Coach, the same question I'm gonna pose to you. Do you think there's any way Cincinnati, mind you, I don't think Cincinnati's gonna lose. I don't want to throw that out there. But if they lose, you think there's any way they stay in the top 4?
There is no way in hell they stand in the top 4 if they lose. They're gonna be definitely out for sure. Now where they bump, I don't believe they will be bumped in the top 10. That's a bold prediction for me. I don't believe they're going to keep Cincinnati in the top 10. I believe they'll put them 11th or 12th in that range if they lose. And it depends on how they lose too. But there's no way in hell if they can lose this game. I don't give a damn if it's close. They won't survive. They will be out.
I know it's not Friday yet, Coach, but I just had a quick question. Do your Houston Cougars knock off Cincinnati?
I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, but I got 2 upsets that I'm
wait till Friday.
I'm gonna wait till Friday because
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling y'all right now, when it comes to those upsets, Greedy Yuki said it best. Coach Dante with the bold picks. He bold with it, but he not wild with it. He gives you the reasoning, and he goes, take a walk with me to the point where you're like, you know what?
It's possible.
I might have to listen. And he's been on the roll. He's got at least one right. 4 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Minnesota beat unranked Wisconsin, even though goddamn Auburn would have made the day more brighter. But I got one right, so that extend my streak to 4 weeks in a row.
Wow, yeah, it's crazy. I will say this: if Cincinnati loses, I will tell you right now, especially with all the disrespect they've had, I'm gonna one up you, Coach. I don't think they're top 15. With all the disrespect they've been getting. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they're chilling down with San Diego State because they're also 11-1 and they're 19th. I wouldn't be surprised if they just chilling there with them. 110%. I wouldn't be surprised. Like that's really that's how wild this thing has been, and why the whole disrespect thing, I don't know. But somebody did ask, and this is gonna be the last question I have for y'all before we move on. Somebody in the comments had asked, do y'all believe this is the year that Michigan wins the college the college playoff? I'm gonna start with you, Coach. Do you think this is Michigan's year?
See, I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna keep it at that.
You got it, Coach. You got it. Trey, yes or no?
That's a negative. Nah. Georgia, I think this is Georgia's year to lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it's Georgia. Like, this is Georgia's year. If Georgia don't win their playoffs this year, they might as well just go ahead and take that whole program out there and burn it down. Because look, Alabama, they look as suspect. Michigan, come on. Georgia been blowing everybody out. Nobody's coming close to even challenging Georgia. The only thing that can hurt Georgia this year would be injuries. That's the only thing that can hurt them.
Yep.
I think Georgia could beat Mother Nature at this point.
I mean, if we're gonna be honest, what's it called? Mike made this joke, and I'm about to steal it from Shout out to that boy Mike. Georgia's so dangerous they'll give COVID. That's how dangerous. Yo, shout out to that boy Mike Stand Up from Chicago. Yo, he came up with that. Yesterday that had me rolling. So I had a nibble on that joke for him real quick. So let's keep it with college. Unfortunately, Bishop dipped. All of a sudden he knew this was coming. got nervous. He ain't want the quote smoke. The Lincoln Riley dominoes are starting to fall for poor Oklahoma. They had Malachi Nelson. He decommitted from Oklahoma and then decided to go to USC. He's like, hey, yo, I'm a Trojan with that guy, Lincoln Riley. There's also another 5-star athlete who they didn't really say where he was going to be. Makai Lemon, he decommitted along with plenty others. And there's a lot of rumors that they're decommitting and they're thinking about following Lincoln Riley to become Trojans. Trey, let me start with you. What the hell going on?
Hey, it's just greatness begets greatness. That's one of the things in which it happens. But it was due to happen. These guys presumably left. I mean, we're going to these are California players that were already playing high school ball at Los Alamitos. Anyone on the West Coast knows Los Al is a powerhouse. But they were playing at Los Al, and now they decide, hey, we was going to go to Oklahoma, and we was going to play for Lincoln Riley. Now Lincoln Riley left. I think it's clear to say that even, let's say Lincoln Riley didn't go to USC, anywhere in which he would have went, they probably would have looked at following there depending on what was already there. So it wasn't that far off. It was just they wanted to go play in the Lincoln Riley system. And so that system is no longer possibly in Oklahoma. You don't even know who's going to be the coach for Oklahoma currently, and of course they wouldn't want to wait because the early signing season is upon us. So it just happened to happen that way. I'm glad it happened that way, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Coach. So all these guys decommitting, Coach. It was funny. Bishop was saying this earlier. Where's the loyalty? Where's the loyalty? Where's the loyalty? It's kind of funny. Do you blame any of these students for trying to follow Lincoln Riley over to OCal?
Nope, I don't blame him because, like I say, the man reached out to him. Again, they are loyal to Lincoln Riley, not loyal to the program. And I don't blame them once at all from moving on his side of anyway. But I believe one of those quarterbacks, Caleb Williams or Spencer Rattler, will end up over there at USC. I believe one of the quarterbacks will end up over there at USC with Lincoln Riley. So no, I don't blame them from decommitting and going towards Lincoln Riley and building a nice program at USC. And USC is gonna be good. Watch what I'm telling you, they're gonna be good next year with Lincoln Riley. And then he already getting decommitments, and then coming over there, he's taking the whole house over there. So I'm making a case that one of the quarterbacks, Caleb Williams or Spencer Rattler, is going to be over there at USC next year.
Yep, and I'll be honest, I think that's what it is. But Jay, let me ask you a question specifically about Spencer Rattler. Obviously, Gritty and Yuki says Rattler to USC, I guarantee. But has been rumors that he wants to go back to his home state of Arizona.
Yep, that's what I was about to say. I don't think he goes to USC.
So there goes my question. Do you think it's wise for him to go to USC, or do you think he should swing by to Arizona?
Well, I think Lincoln Riley. He even at Oklahoma, man, he was already kind of sitting Spencer Rattler. He wasn't even playing him all that much. I don't know why. I don't know if he lost a little bit of loyalty there with him or not. I think he winds up going to Arizona, going back to his home state and playing with those guys.
I don't blame you for feeling like that. Look, I will say this. I do think Rattler will go to USC, but him getting benched, that could mean something. I mean,
like you said, look, the loyalty is who comes in your living room and talks to your family. That's who you develop a relationship with. That's who you develop the loyalty with. But the point I'm saying is once Lincoln Riley benched him in Oklahoma, don't you think that loyalty gets a little bit tarnished? Because people don't like to feel a certain kind of way when they get benched. They want to be like they're the person, like they're the man. So I think he kind of does go to Arizona so he can be the man again. Because what's he going to do? Go to USC, take a backseat to the number 2 recruit that's coming in, who Lincoln Riley already has that loyalty with? I mean, I think it's a lot of toss-ups in the air, to be honest with you.
Yeah, in all actuality, it's a lot of underlining that no one's paying attention to because you got to take in consideration now. What about those players that were at USC already? You got the Jackson Darts, that are currently there that are with top quarterbacks or that have been brought to USC to do exactly what these other guys is basically finna come into. So it's going to be it's a lot more dominoes that's going to fall outside of what we're talking about now, due to the fact I think there's already people who have decommitted from USC because Lincoln Riley's coming. So it's a lot of underlining stories that's out there, and with more to come.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting because a lot of people, believe that with Lincoln Riley leaving, Oklahoma's going to be in a tough shape. Whatever happens with them happens. But I think we all agree here, the Trojans are going to be significantly better with a big name like Lincoln Riley, who will be able to go get better recruits to build a better culture and all that stuff. So, I mean, I wish Bishop was here, but, Lincoln Riley, he's not that bad of a guy. So the NCAA, the basketball season has begun. I got the AP top 25 here. I'm going to list them off to you guys, and I want you to let me know if you guys agree or disagree with anything. And then we will also get into Duke, who caught a flaming L to Ohio State, 71-66. Before we do that, Duke is at 1, Purdue's at 2, Gonzaga 3, Baylor 4, UCLA 5. Villanova at 6, Texas at 7, Kansas 8, Kentucky 9, Arkansas 10, Arizona 11, BYU 12, Tennessee 13, Florida 14, Houston 15, Alabama 16, UConn 17, Memphis 18, Iowa State 19, USC 20, Auburn 21, Michigan State number 2, Wisconsin 23, 24 is Michigan, and Seton Hall is 25. Is there any, things you guys think is wrong? Any predictions more specifically? Matter of fact, let me start with you, Coach. After that L from Ohio State, how far do you think Duke drops?
They're not gonna drop number by like 4 spots to number 5. They're not gonna drop number by like 4 to a couple of spots. They lost to an unranked Ohio State after coming off a momentum win against Gonzaga, who was number 1. And Gonzaga been for the last couple of years been the most dominant team in college basketball. So again, the come in, they were up by 10 at one point in this game, but to come in to lay an egg against Ohio State after convincing win, after a great win against Gonzaga, that's a drop off, man. And sometimes that's what happens in this game of basketball, game of football. You get that one big signature win, and then you just lay a nutshell against another squad that you don't come up and show. And Houston Cougars, they're gonna be pretty good. They got my ex head coach, former assistant coach Kelvin Sampson over there. Shout out to Kelvin Sampson. He changed his Houston program. Tennessee is going to be up there all year, and Purdue is pretty decent. It's pretty good as well. But that was an impressive win by Ohio State, man. They put it on Duke. They dominated Duke in that second quarter yesterday.
Yeah, they definitely did. And to answer your question, the NCAA is based on they're more on they do use schedule, but they also do focus on the record, and they also focus on how many points you score and your metrics and all that stuff.
But most importantly, if you win your conference championship tournament, you're in. You're automatically in.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 60-18 field. So if you win don't matter if you go in your conference tournament struggling, you win your tournament, they put you in.
I've always said this, Trey. I don't know if you want to disagree with me, but I always felt like the NCAA rankings have, in terms of basketball, has been more consistent and made more sense than the college football rankings. I've always felt that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I've always felt that way.
See, basically, in my opinion, of course, there's a huge disparity between the college football and the college basketball rankings, but also there's more money in the college football when you come talking about these viewing rights and stuff like that. That's where the big money is. Hence the reason why they come up with the college football playoff. Hence the reason why they had the BCS. Like that's all business and business and telling. And then of course with college basketball, the big dance at the end of the year is what brings in the dollars for them, which in terms basically is based upon people's play for the most part, who was better than who on that particular day. So it's just one of those things.
Okay. So, Trey, let me ask you a question. So obviously we believe Duke will fall. Purdue obviously is 2. Their next 3 games are versus Iowa, at Rutgers, and then at NCST. And at number 3 is Gonzaga, who was number 1 until they lost to Duke. Their next 3 is against 16th ranked Alabama versus MRMK and then Washington. Who do you think has a better chance of catching up against Duke to take that number 1 spot?
Who I think is going to basically be number 1, give us some time, is Baylor. Baylor's going to be back number 1, especially if 2 weeks they play against number 6 ranked Villanova. If Baylor, compared to what everyone else is playing, if Baylor can pull off that feat, Baylor's going to be back at least in the top 3. But I foresee number 1 within the next week or 2.
And honestly, I'll be honest with you, I'm not back because I'm looking at the schedule. They play 6th ranked Villanova. Then they play a game. Then they play against Oregon. Even though Oregon isn't ranked, still sucks. But and on New Year's Day, they play against number 19th ranked Iowa. So if things go along like you said with time, I'm not even mad at you for saying that at all, because to be honest, the potential is there. They're already 4th. As long as they hold it down, and they've been trending up. Last week they were 6th. They moved up 2 spots. So I'm not mad at you for saying that. Jay, if you looking at it, right, obviously Duke is 1, Purdue's 2, Gonzaga 3, Baylor 4, UCLA is 5. Are there any other outside teams that should be, that you believe are primed to start breaking into the top 5?
Well, I think Trey hit it on the nail for me. It was Baylor. Man, I see Baylor trending up pretty highly. I think U of H still has a chance. I'm a big U of H guy, so I think they're looking pretty good. But I think Baylor, though, for me, man, is the one that's going to trend up for sure. I think they're going to pick at the right time.
Yeah, and I want to add a team in there that's very underrated, and that I think that's going to be better than any other one of my teams. Not saying that I'm biased, but Texas.
Yep.
They got a great head coach over there in Chris Beard. The Final Four coach that took Texas Tech to the Final Four, to the national championship and the Final Four. He got a great coaching staff over there. He got some veteran transfers over there as well. So look out for UT and Coach Chris Beard in Texas over there. They're looking very good after the loss against Gonzaga. And they played Gonzaga close in that game. So shout out to Chris Beard.
Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling you were going to say that. The Longhorns, their next 3, especially they're playing 25th ranked Seton Hall, which I'm one of those people who think Seton Hall is one of those guys who they're sleepers. They, you know what I mean? Like, you need to play up for Seton Hall because they legit. They definitely are here to play. So definitely it's going to be interesting to see how all this stuff breaks down going further through the year. The MLB lockout, it's looming. It's almost here. And the question I want to pose to you guys is, why do you think some players are waiting to sign these big deals? Now, just in case anyone who doesn't know what the lockout is, it's basically a strike, right? So when there's no agreement reached in terms of the collective bargaining agreement, when the CBA isn't reached and there's no renewal, then all baseball activities stop. Now, when we say all baseball activities, it's literally all baseball activities. You cannot talk to the players. There's no trades. There's no signings. Nothing. So in terms of playing the game, you don't do anything. But in terms of the office side as well, nothing is done either. It's almost like this strike thing where the players really don't care because it's the off season. They're not really going to do anything in terms of playing anyway. But it's just kind of interesting that a lot of the players are signing these big deals. Javier Baez, Max Scherzer, Byron Buxton. All these guys are getting these great – Corey Seager in Texas. They're getting these great deals. But other guys, Chris Bryant, I believe Anthony Rizzo as well, Carlos Correa, just to name a few, they're not really like – it's almost as if they're talking. They don't know. They're kind of just like taking their time. So, Trey, let me ask you the question first. Why do you think some of these guys are waiting to sign their contracts, these big money contracts?
Because they're trying to wait to see if those contracts or the CBAs or the agreements that they're going to have to come to terms with what is going to be beneficial for them. So, of course, if you believe that you're a top rated player you're going to get signed by somebody, it might be more conducive for you to wait and hold out to see what's going to go on. Like if the lockout zooms, then it's going to basically be like, okay, well, there's nothing going on anyway. I'm very sure there's some backdoor speaking or talking. You can't stop my man from going to have lunch, saying with their, not necessarily them, but their representatives to go speak. And what talks about. Who knows? Unless there's someone sitting there with the microphone recording everything that's being said, you don't know what's being said when at certain points. But that's the reason for these holdout, basically, so that way. So these players can go ahead and see if it's going to be what the new CBAs include and what will be taken away and how they can go ahead and move forward.
All right, yeah. To me, it's like I get that part. It just always was a little weird because you got all these guys getting paid stupid amount of money. For instance, Max Scherzer with like 130 plus of 3 years. Coach, let me pose you this question. Because the last time we had a lockout was, I think, 2016, I believe was the last time we had a lockout. Do you think this is going to last the whole off season? Do you think it's going to trickle to the regular season? Like, how long do you think this lockout is going to happen?
I think it's potentially can last through the whole off season a little bit. I don't think it'll go through the season start, but I think it has a chance to go through the off season. And, which is, I'll say Carlos Correa is a very good player. He's a superstar type player and stuff like that. That's like Trey said. That's why
he cheated that one time and we can't get over it.
He's a superstar type player. He come through with clutch hits. So like Trey said, most of these guys, they feel like they're worth the money. They're gonna hold out. They're gonna hold out until they can get something kind of big. But I think it's got potential to last through pretty much the whole off season.
Yeah, and just to make a correction, so I said that teams weren't allowed to talk to each other. They actually are. I just looked it up because when I said it, it almost seemed a little weird. So it turns out teams can talk to each other.
The players just can't talk to the team.
Are official until the lockout is done. Like when it's over, then they can be official. They can talk about it, but nothing can be done. Excuse me. In terms of the new CBA, Jay, I want to ask you this question. Which side do you think is more likely to get what they want? Do you think it's more likely that that the league will just be able to just in essence renew the same one that they had, or do you think the Players Association will be able to try to nitpick and try to get something? Because we also have to remember one of the big problems they had was that minor leaguers weren't really getting their their whole situation in terms of like housing.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, they ended up solving that to the point where it's the team's now responsibility for minor leaguers to have housing, all that stuff. But whose side do you think is going to get more what they want, the Players Association or the actual league?
No, I definitely think the Players Association is going to get what they want. I mean, they're not going to get everything that they want, but I definitely think they're going to get arbitration, free agency, and all those topics that are on the board. I definitely think that's going to work out in their favor. I think they're going to. It's a player-driven league. Let's be honest. It's a player-driven league, And I think the players, they're not going to get everything, but I guarantee you they get the majority of what they want. Let's be honest. Baseball has not trended highly in a long time. It's always taken a back seat to football and basketball. So they can't really afford a large lockout. They're going to have to get something going to where they can keep the relevancy of the game, So I think the players will get they'll get the majority of what they want.
Yeah, and honestly, that's actually a great point too, because if you really think about it, like in terms of like the Rays and all that stuff, like you really don't want to put the players in a position where they feel like, okay, we can't really do anything. You know what I mean? And especially even though and somebody thinks, will it be a shorter season?
I don't think so. They got 3 months till the season even starts. 3 months. I think if anything, it's going to affect probably a little bit of the spring training. I think spring training will get affected by it. But I don't think it's going to dip into the 162 games. You're going to see a 162 game season. They're not going to have another shortened season like they had last go around. I think they got 3 months. I think something gets done before then.
Yeah, Trey, let me ask you, because someone actually commented this. What do you think about the Athletics getting a new arena, and do you think they will abandon the old stadium and leave it in rust, just like the Astrodome and the Silverdome?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be used at some point for something else, or it's going to be because it's in the city. It's in the city, so it's going to have to be used. Like they're not going to just completely abandon it.
Right.
Where it has, I think the city owns it, so they're going to be able to make some type of money off of it. No different to how they do with the Forum. Like the Lakers, Jeannie Buss owned the Forum and or portion of the Forum, and was had a little solace which before they sold it to the Clippers. So they're going to get some type of usage from it. I don't foresee it being completely abandoned.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question, because I've always been a little curious about this. Do you think at some point, in terms of like the whole MLB and how they want to do, like how like the NFL kind of wants to expand, do you think at some point the MLB would consider this? And I want to start with you, Coach. Do you think the MLB would consider this? And if they do, what cities, what states, hell, what countries do you think that the MLB should look to make more teams?
I think again, if they don't have a baseball team in Las Vegas, I think they should consider that. At some point, Las Vegas will be a very good option. Dallas could be a very good option as well. There's multiple options out there that I think they should definitely consider having. So again, we're gonna see, we're gonna find out, but I think those two are definitely that can be considered.
Yeah. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I definitely like the whole Vegas idea. There's money in Vegas. There's a lot of money in Vegas. And I think the Rangers, I don't know about Dallas, but the Rangers are already kind of pretty much in the Dallas area. I think the Rangers kind of get, I don't think the Dallas market is big enough to support two teams. So I definitely think, I think Vegas is definitely, probably one of the best shots in terms of money.
Yeah. What about you, Trey?
Trifecta, Vegas it is for the win. It's definitely like the money. Like prior to them getting the Black Knights or even the Aces, that was what the rumblings were, that they were going to get a MLB team. It's still open. I think at some point there's going to be, like they already have the Raiders, and now they have the Aces. They have the Knights. I think they're going to, at some point, they're going to get their own NBA team.
Yeah.
And the MLB. So Vegas will be another one of those areas in which they have all the major sports markets teams and continue to build upon that.
Yeah. I will say, because Damian stole mine, I do think Mexico should get one. You know what I mean? Like expand on that, on the Hispanic market, that a lot of Hispanics like watching baseball. Granted, it won't be like, the best, but if you can go, because now you got viewers from Canada because they watch Toronto. You got viewers in the States, and now viewers from Mexico, and it will drive up because if Mexico has their own team. I think that'll be interesting. We have another comment that says MLB should look at Birmingham, Orlando, Memphis, San Antonio, London, Mexico, Hawaii, Nashville, and Oklahoma. I mean, all those. I mean, is there any team or any city you guys would take out or?
So Hawaii, I think anything in Hawaii is going to be pretty hard. Like I used to own a minor league basketball team, coach a minor league basketball team in Lake Charles. And at one point, I was looking at doing a partnership with a guy to go to Hawaii. And as I was doing my research, I was calling places and talking to city councilmen and all that type of stuff. And that was like a really gut-wrenching situation. It really opened eyes. Like it's feasible, but I think Hawaii will be hella hard for the simple fact of where they are.
Just
and,
logistically,
yeah, logistics is going to be expensive, and it makes it a little bit harder.
But I don't see how. I think Mexico even still is kind of a hard one to go to because look at all the logistic issues you'd have in Mexico. I mean, hell, half of Mexico is run by the cartel. I mean, there's a lot of issues down there in Mexico. I mean, you got economics. They're not the most economically rich country. I mean, how much are they going to be able to support? Mexico City? What, Cabo? Maybe? I don't know. I just don't know.
I would go to one of the populated, like the most heavily, like Mexico City.
You have to go to Mexico City. That's really about the only one that really could do it.
Yeah, that's where I would go.
But I'm telling you, Mexico's still from a security standpoint, Mexico's still a very rough country to live in. It's not like Canada, where Canada's a little bit more, like the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to do it on the border, you could probably live in Texas, like on the border, and then just travel to the stadium just for the team. Because there are players who do that who don't live where they play. They just go there.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
What team along the border is going to be able to do that? I mean, I just don't see a city along the border having the economic capacity to support a Major League Baseball team.
In Mexico, I think so. I'm talking about if you put them in Mexico, if you put them in Mexico and you have guys live in Texas, I mean, I think it could potentially work. Somebody said, why the NFL keep talking about putting a team in London?
Yeah, that don't make no sense to me.
I think it does. I think it makes
sense. I mean, logistically, how much traveling you gonna always? I don't know.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I don't think it'll be that bad. I don't think so, because there's times they have 4, 5, 6 games in London. There was one year they had 5 games in London a couple years ago. I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean,
right.
I mean, if my thing is, if you're gonna be in London that often, might as well reward them with a team. You know what I mean? Like, they also want to make it a whole thing where they they don't just want to go one time a year. They want to go multiple. They want to go 4, 5, 6 times a year. So I mean, when I look at London, I don't mind it. I really don't. I mean, Hawaii. I mean, logistically, it'll be very difficult. I think if you're gonna put a team in Hawaii, it'll probably have to be a team that's already established. To be honest, a team that has the money. You know what I mean? Kind of like I'm not saying they would, but the Dallas Cowboys or the Raiders. A team that's already solidified. And then you can.
No, I think it's the time zone. Is London? How many hours is London? Are they behind us or ahead of us?
I think they're a few hours ahead of us.
So that's what I'm saying. So, what time in the morning would you be seeing football games in London? I mean, are you really gonna
9, like 6 or 9 in the morning, something like that between there?
Yeah, how many people up at 6? Most people are at work at that time. So the only real market you're getting is the Europe market, which I guess there's a big enough market to support it, I guess.
Yeah, which is the market that they want because they sold out the arena for the Jags and Dolphins.
So the marketing, true enough, the marketing is there. The need is there from a business standpoint, but it like everyone else is saying, logistically, it might not work. Hence the reason why the NFL continues to run 2 or 3 games there a year is with the same ideal of what they was doing in New Mexico until it was stated that infrastructure in New Mexico wasn't conducive to the type of field to play in which they need, so they've been running them in London. So they're going to. I think the NFL is going to continue with what they're doing and technically, playing a couple of games in London and continue to test those waters until they're able to find a couple of teams that need to come in and maybe London to get an opportunity. So it still remains to be seen.
But didn't they kind of test that market when they had NFL Europe over there? Remember why they had NFL Europe? And did that really pan out?
And well, the problem with that one when they did that, they were trying to televise the games over there. And that's why it really didn't work out because I've always thought with London, you can't really tell. First, it's like if you put a team over there, I'll be honest, you're basically putting the team over there solely for Europe, for the European market, not really for us to see live. Like if you can wake up at 6 in the morning and catch it live, great. But I've always felt like if you're gonna put a team over there, I always felt like you'll do it just to get that European market. You know what I mean? Like that's how I've looked.
I mean, that's the only reason I would go. That's the reason why you would go to Europe, is to get the market. I mean, to expand the game. I mean, just like soccer. I mean, the NFL is never going to be as big as soccer if you don't expand to those other countries, because nobody's going to take an active interest like that.
Right,
exactly. I'm all for going to Europe. I mean, shit.
Yeah, and again, it's not going to be. No matter where we go, it's not going to be easy. It's really not. There's going to be it's trials, it's tribulations, all that stuff. It's going to be difficult one way or another. But I feel like, we'll be able to, try to navigate it. This is going to be the last question of the day. Will the NFL, NBA, and MLB, or NHL ever go to Alaska? The only team I can see doing this is the NHL.
I think the NHL will go out there. It's not populous for Alaska.
I think the NHL would be the only team that would do it.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Talk to it. That's what I'm saying. Like the NFL, unless you get a dome, but even then, I don't know. The MLB, again, with a dome, but even then, it wouldn't make sense because, the NBA, I mean, maybe, potentially the MLB, but I don't know. I feel like the NHL is the only team that would be bold enough to do something like that, to actually do it and actually be successful in it. And on top of that, how many people really live in Alaska?
That's what I was just saying. There's only 293,000 people that live in Anchorage, Alaska, and out of that 293,000, how many people are going to go see a game?
Anchorage is the most populated city in Alaska, if I'm not mistaken.
No, yeah, and I'm saying they're under 300,000 people, and that's to say who's gonna out of that 300,000 people, who's gonna go see a game or even watch a game? I mean, I just don't think there's enough people there to even make a damn difference.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. It would be interesting, but even then, with the whole population thing, I don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work. Like I said, I think the only team it might work is Alaska, because a few years ago they did this this poll, which is what's your favorite sport in Alaska? Their favorite was the NHL. Like that is kind of what they watch the most. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe the NHL. Spotlight, you missed it. I already did my whole thing. I'm not going back into it. I already did my thing. You see Trey laughing, so all I'm saying is this: the strength of schedule matters until it's Alabama, baby. All of a sudden, strength of schedule don't matter. I'm just throwing that out there, right, Trey? Or am I bugging, Trey?
It is what it is, man. Dollars. Cash rules everything around me, baby.
Yeah. Cash rules everything around me. Hold on, mommy. Give Daddy a second. Oh man, that was the line of the night. Cash was everything around me. Freeze, get. My bad. I've been listening to no, not my daughter trying to do it. No, don't say the bad word. But it's been your boy Pride. It was another great show alongside with Jay, Coach Dante, and Trey. Shout out to Bishop who was here. He ended up dipping on us, but it is what it is.
You knew he was gonna dip.
The Chick-fil-A gonna get the UTSA treatment if they lose. 110%. 110%. Matter of fact, just for that, I low-key might go get some Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, the Cincinnati Bears are my team. I don't give a shit. They're my team. Just because of the whole Chick-fil-A thing. Swear to God. I actually zoomed in. It looks so much like it. But it's been your boy Pride. I'm back from Jay, Coach Dante, Trey, and Bishop, who dipped because he knew we were going to talk about Lincoln Riley. It's been a pleasure. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning. Be safe, and we'll see you on the next time. Peace.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.